You know. Hi, Lovey. Minna was a little shit yesterday. Uh, at the end of last year of summer, we run Kapisic Nature Conservancy Trail. It's close to where I work. Minna was freelancing, so he was on the trail, but then he would go briskly over the knoll and it would go to, I found him at the dentist. He went to a business. When I couldn't find him, then I'm like, he's just expanding his freedom. He's a little shit because I take him there so he can run off leash like a real dog, but then he starts going towards the street and businesses. He's getting off the trail, and that's not a good idea. I know Minnow, he leads by charm for sure, but I don't know how that's going to stand up in the pace and the grill work of car, CR, okay? And by extension, everyone else gets the same sort of care to get there from here, where we are a wart. So I don't think it's not right for me to have others gratuitously stop for the dog that got off leash and is running in traffic. So the end of last year, I'm like, I'm not taking you back. We've got a few more days of summer, but I need to find your shock collar and recharge the battery because I need you to know you get this nice favor of being off leash. You need to listen to me. So Minnow knows what the leash means. I let him off leash and I'm holding it, and he knows by the way I'm holding it that I'm wanting to put it back on him. And what I learned that I like best is letting Minnow off leash on the walk out on the trail, but that I like to come back with him on leash so that we go together to go to the car or back to work. That we go together, and I don't have to, that way I can assure that I'm not waiting for him at the fork or the bridge. And anyway, yesterday in the snow, it was a little bit icy because it was a nice day. I took Minnow to the Nature Conservancy Trail, and he was a little shit. Went out fine. On the way back, I had the leash, and I wanted him to get on leash with me. It was sufficiently icy in some places that unless you had some sort of chain assembly you could put on your feet, like cleating, like they sell. If you didn't choose your step carefully, you were going down. So much so that I was thinking, as I was walking, I'm like, it was cold enough I had my finger gloves on that I wanted to fold my fingers inside the gloves, but I thought, you know what, if you fall, you're going to need your whole hand. So it was like trying to pre-think everything as I'm walking very delicately because I don't want to fall, but if I did fall, well, it's have your best way to go down and recover. And so go down. Minnow went to the right, then we went to the left across the bridge. Then he went over a knoll and he kept going, I called for him, but he kept going. I'm like, fine, okay, Minnow can run and I'm picking each step. And then on the way back, I wanted him to come with me, so he could tell by the way I'm holding the leash that that's what I want to do. I want to put it on him. And he ran very fast past me back down to the bridge. And I called for him as soon as he got across the bridge. And I kept calling, and he kind of looked over his shoulder like, it's you. And then he took off really fast. And I was like, really? You little shit. I bring you out here so that you can have the real live experience of being a dog off leash. And you're making me follow you now. You that don't know anything about traffic and the pace of the world and the pace and lace of the world. And so I called to him several times, and I can't chase him down right now with both the my foot, the gait, the stiffness versus flexibility that I'm trying to initiate to have full range of motion and recovery, and also compounded with the ice on an incline. So I find him, I get up to the top where the road is and the car's parked, and I'm like, Minnow, Minnow. Well, he was footing around the neighborhood up there, and I was just like, you just reminded me I need to find your shock collar because you're a little shit, and you just reminded me the end of fall you were a little shit. And you're still a little shit in winter. So I did find it. It's called Pet Safe. It's the only one that they call it a ram. So Minnow doesn't have any hair on his neck and basically his whole belly, his underside. The dog doesn't have a second coat that it would shed. So usually these shock collars have two metal pins so it could get through the hair and make contact with the skin so that you can shock. I got a ram, so it's not a pin, it's rounded, so it would sit nicer on him. And yes, I tried this on myself first, so I know how strong the shock is. This one isn't that strong. You've got shock collars with a GPS unit on it, so you could track your dog several miles away, usually for hunters. You know, this is really made for a smaller dog, but what I prized about it is this won't hurt Minnow's neck, but I can see that if I'm going to give him the opportunity to run freely, that it needs to be preset with the observation to understand safe boundary settings. So anyway, I don't remember how to use it. I probably can read. How does this work? It's got these little, I don't know, they're kind of loops, they're kind of inset. I thought you used to touch something. Put two touches together. Maybe if I just recharge it, it'll magically turn on. I don't know. I can't remember. I might have to read the book. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. Minnow has the ram. It's the only one that I found out there, but it really fits his neck. He doesn't have a coat of fur there. It's just bare skin.
Some say that it's Adam's fault, that he shouldn't have accepted the apple from Eve. Some say it was all Eve's problem to begin with, and she should have behaved better. Some say actually it was the serpent who really deserves to be blamed for everything that took place. And that tells you plenty really about the state of the human race. If we can't even resolve the issue of whose fault was what in a story that stretches back that far, if the debate is still raging, if the various points are being discussed and worked through, what chance do we have of ever getting to the bottom of anything? How are we ever going to decide how we move forward, how we resolve our past issues, how we find peace and harmony amongst ourselves? There's blame being attributed, there's disapproval being generated, there are fingers being wagged, and there is an entire cornucopia of issues that are hot as soon as you get anywhere near them, and when you try to grapple with them, they burn you. I know there's a lot on the mind, and I suspect that what I'm about to say from the sound when you first hear it as if it's the wrong forecast, as if it isn't hitting the spot, as if it isn't making the right kind of sense. Well, don't talk to me about that, Jonathan. Talk to me about what I need to know. Is what you need to know. I really feel that if I can get this point across to you, the week will take care of itself, and so will most of the issues of business, if not all of them.
When I was at work today, um, I got to see the layout of the silk and where I left it, which was arranging the gold hexagons and the white hexagons on it, and it was really nice. It was a small moment, but it was really lovely to look at. So I'm using that as my carrot on the stick. Get this website information content up. At the very least, give you all something to chew on, and I could go work on my honeycomb hexagon. I was very subtly impressed because it doesn't yell. The object doesn't yell, but it's beautiful to look at. And the shantung silk with little slubs in it, and piecing it together for a unity of whole artwork, composition, ideation. Not trying to be technical, it was just lovely to look at, and I forgot.